The mystery of Om, the eternal sound behind creation. Part 1. The first vibration of the infinite. Before there was light, there was silence. Before the stars were born, before galaxies began to dance across the vastness of space, before time measured a single moment, there existed only the infinite, boundless, formless, and beyond human comprehension. The ancient sages of India entered profound states of meditation to explore this ultimate reality. What they discovered was not merely a philosophical idea, but a direct experience. They realized that the universe did not begin with chaos, it began with consciousness. And the very first expression of that infinite consciousness was a sacred vibration known as Om, Aum. Om is not simply a sound created by human speech. It is regarded in the Upanishads as the primordial vibration, the living pulse from which the entire cosmos unfolds. Every star, every atom, every breath, every heartbeat, and every form of life is believed to arise from this eternal resonance. For this reason, the sages declared that Aum is not merely a mantra, it is the audible form of the Absolute. The wisdom of the Mandukya Upanishad. Among all the Upanishads, the Mandukya Upanishad is unique. Though remarkably brief, it contains one of the deepest revelations in all of spiritual literature. Its opening declaration is profound. Om, this syllable is all that exists. This statement is far more than poetry. It suggests that everything we perceive, the past, the present, the future, and even that which transcends time, is contained within the mystery of Om. The visible universe is constantly changing. Civilizations rise and fall. Stars are born and disappear. Human bodies age. Thoughts appear and vanish. Yet behind every change exists an unchanging reality. The sages called that eternal reality Brahman, and Om is its sacred symbol and sound. Why Om is called Pranav? Ancient scriptures also refer to Om as Pranav. The word carries profound meaning. It signifies that which constantly renews life, awakens consciousness, and sustains existence. Each sunrise, every blooming flower, every newborn child, every flowing river reflects the silent rhythm of Pranav. We rarely notice it because our attention remains absorbed in the noise of the external world. Meditation is not the creation of silence. It is the rediscovery of the silence that has always been present beneath the mind. Krishna's revelation. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna reveals, "Among all the Vedas, I am Om." This is not merely symbolic. It means that if the limitless wisdom of the Vedas could be distilled into a single sacred expression, that expression would be Om. Just as an immense banyan tree is hidden within a tiny seed, the infinite wisdom of the Vedas rests within this single sacred syllable. The entire spiritual journey, from ignorance to enlightenment, is contained within its vibration, the sound that is never created. Ordinary sounds arise when two objects collide, but the sages spoke of another kind of sound, a sound that is never produced through physical contact. They called it anahatanada, the unstruck sound. It cannot be heard with ordinary ears. It is perceived only when the mind becomes perfectly still. As thoughts dissolve and the breath grows subtle, a mysterious inner vibration begins to reveal itself. This is why true meditation is not about escaping the world. It is about becoming quiet enough to hear the music that has always existed within. Is Om a religious symbol? One of the greatest misunderstandings of modern times is the belief that Om belongs exclusively to one religion. The ancient sages never presented Om as a symbol of division. Just as sunlight shines upon every nation without discrimination, just as air sustains every living being regardless of language or belief, the vibration of Om belongs to existence itself. Truth cannot be confined by culture. The infinite cannot be limited by names. Om is not the property of a civilization. It is the language of consciousness. A simple analogy. Imagine the surface of a vast, silent ocean. Suddenly, a single ripple appears. That ripple gives birth to countless waves. Some become enormous. Others remain gentle. Eventually, every wave returns to the very ocean from which it arose. Were the waves ever separate from the ocean? Only in appearance. Likewise, every living being appears separate, yet all emerge from the same infinite source and ultimately return to it. The sages saw Om as that infinite ocean of consciousness. The universe is simply its ever-changing wave. The forgotten journey within. Modern civilization has mastered the exploration of outer space. Ancient spirituality mastered the exploration of inner space. One journey seeks distant galaxies. The other seeks the silent center of awareness itself. The greatest discovery of the sages was not another world. It was the realization that the divine is not distant. It is closer than our own breath, closer than our thoughts, closer than our heartbeat. Om is the doorway to that realization. It is not merely something to be pronounced by the lips. It is something to be awakened within the soul. Every sincere repetition of Om becomes an invitation to return to our original nature, not as separate individuals struggling against life, but as expressions of the same limitless consciousness from which the universe itself was born. And perhaps this is why the sages never regarded Om as merely a sacred sound. They revered it as the heartbeat of the infinite, the eternal vibration in which creation begins, life unfolds, and every soul eventually discovers its way back home. Part 2. Aum, the secret of consciousness, Shiva, and Shakti. If Om is the sound of the universe, then why is it composed of three distinct vibrations? Au and M? To an ordinary mind, these appear to be simple letters. But to the ancient seers, they represented the entire journey of existence, from creation to transcendence. The Mandukya Upanishad reveals that every experience in life, every state of consciousness, and every movement of the cosmos is contained within these three sacred sounds. Yet their greatest mystery lies not in the sound itself, but in the profound silence that follows. The first vibration, A, the dawn of creation. The sound, A, is the beginning of all expression. It is the first vibration naturally produced by the human voice, symbolizing birth, emergence, and manifestation. In the spiritual tradition, this vibration is associated with Brahma, the creative intelligence of the universe. Creation is not merely the appearance of planets and stars. Every sunrise is creation. Every new thought is creation. Every act of compassion is creation. Every moment we awaken to a higher understanding, the vibration of A is alive within us. This is why the sages saw creation as an ongoing process rather than an event that happened only once. The second vibration, U, the power that sustains. Everything that is born must be nourished. The sound U represents preservation, harmony, balance, and expansion. It is traditionally associated with Vishnu, the sustaining principle of existence. Look at nature. The earth continuously supports life. The rivers never stop flowing. The sun rises each morning without asking for recognition. Existence itself is sustained through an invisible intelligence. Spiritually, U teaches us that enlightenment is not found by escaping life, but by living every moment with awareness, compassion, and balance. The third vibration, M, a beautiful analogy. Imagine watching a movie. The story changes every few seconds. Joy becomes sorrow. Night becomes day. Heroes become villains. Yet throughout the entire film, the screen never changes. Without the screen, no image could appear. The changing scenes represent life. The screen represents pure consciousness. Turiya is that silent screen. The awakened person enjoys the movie without forgetting the screen behind it. The inner meaning of chanting Om. Many people believe that spiritual practice consists simply of repeating the word Om. The sages gently remind us that chanting is only the beginning. The purpose of chanting is not to produce a louder sound. It is to discover the source from which all sound arises. At first, Om is spoken by the lips. Then it begins to resonate in the breath. Eventually, it vibrates within the heart. Finally, even the vibration disappears. Only silence remains. And in that silence, the seeker discovers what the scriptures have proclaimed for thousands of years. The one who is searching, the path, and the destination were never separate. They were always expressions of the same infinite reality. The secret hidden in every breath. Every inhale is life entering. Every exhale is surrender. Between the two is a moment of perfect stillness. Most people never notice it. The yogis did. They discovered that this tiny gap reflects the mystery of Turiya. When Om is united with conscious breathing, the restless mind gradually becomes quiet. As the mind becomes quiet, awareness becomes luminous. And in that luminous awareness, the presence of Shiva and Shakti is no longer an idea. It becomes a living experience. For this reason, the sages did not worship Om merely as a sacred syllable. They revered it as the bridge between the finite and the infinite, between the individual soul and the universal self. To hear Om with the ears is inspiring. To chant Om with the voice is purifying. But to awaken Om within one's own consciousness is the beginning of true liberation. Part 3. Beyond sound, beyond mind, beyond time. What happens when the chanting of Om ends? Most people believe that the spiritual journey ends when the sound fades into silence. The ancient sages taught something far more profound. They declared that the greatest mystery begins after the sound disappears. Om is not merely a sacred vibration. It is the bridge that leads the seeker from sound into silence, and from silence into the infinite. The sound is the beginning. Silence is the revelation. The silence hidden within every breath. Every human being breathes thousands of times each day, yet very few notice the silent space between inhalation and exhalation. Every thought rises and fades. Every word begins and ends. Every experience appears and disappears. Yet something remains unchanged. The sages discovered that this silent presence is always here, watching, witnessing, never changing. The true purpose of Om is to awaken our awareness of that eternal presence. Shiva, the infinite stillness. The scriptures describe Shiva as the limitless, formless consciousness behind all existence. He is not confined to a mountain, a temple, or an image. He is the boundless awareness that exists before every thought and beyond every experience. Imagine the endless sky. Clouds drift across it. Storms arise and vanish. The seasons change, yet the sky itself remains untouched. Likewise, thoughts, emotions, memories, and desires continuously move through the mind, while pure consciousness remains forever still. That eternal stillness is Shiva. Shakti, the living power of creation. If Shiva is infinite stillness, then Shakti is infinite movement. She is the creative energy flowing through every atom of the universe. She shines through the stars. She blossoms in every flower. She flows in every river. She beats within every human heart. Without Shiva, there would be no silent foundation. Without Shakti, there would be no creation. Together, they are one eternal reality. The vibration of Om is the sacred union of Shiva and Shakti, the eternal dance of consciousness and divine energy. The mirror of the soul. Imagine an ancient mirror covered with layers of dust. The mirror has never lost its ability to reflect light. Only the dust hides its true brilliance. The human mind is exactly the same. Fear, attachment, anger, pride, endless desires. These are the dust covering the mirror of consciousness. Meditation on Om does not create inner light. It simply removes everything that hides it. When the dust disappears, the mirror naturally reflects the sun. When ignorance disappears, the soul naturally reflects the divine. The journey from knowledge to realization. Reading sacred books gives knowledge. Contemplation brings understanding. Meditation brings experience. But realization transforms the entire being. The ancient sages never wanted seekers to collect information. They wanted them to awaken. The purpose of Om is not to fill the mind with more thoughts. Its purpose is to dissolve the illusion that separates the individual from the infinite. Only an empty mind can reflect the infinite light. The greatest discovery. Humanity has explored oceans, climbed the highest mountains, crossed the skies, and reached into space. Yet the greatest mystery has always remained within. The sages declared that the one who truly discovers the self discovers the entire universe. Because the light shining through distant galaxies is the very same light shining within human consciousness. Every sincere repetition of Om is an invitation to return, not to a place, but to your original nature, the final revelation. The highest spiritual realization is not seeing visions. It is not hearing celestial sounds. It is not performing miracles. The highest realization is awakening to the truth that the seeker and the divine have never been separate. When the ego dissolves, when the heart overflows with unconditional love, when the mind rests in perfect peace, the divine is no longer an idea. It becomes direct experience. This is the eternal message of Om. It is the first vibration of creation, the silent essence of meditation, the hidden heartbeat of the universe, the sacred bridge between the human soul and the supreme consciousness. And when the final vibration of Om disappears into perfect silence, the seeker realizes that the silence itself has always been the voice of the eternal. Om, the sound of creation, the silence of eternity, the awakening of the soul.